tornado now, and also tennis ball sized hail possibly with it. It was just southwest of Bogota that was moving to the east at 45 miles an hour. So I'll put a new track on this, but essentially should be around Bogota right now and over toward Wilkerson at about 5:20. Other locations that would be included would be Johntown that we talked about, Cathand, Talco, Harts Bluff, and Deport. So as it heads to the east, those are the towns that could be impacted by this storm. In fact, let me go in a little bit tighter because it looks like that rotation is even tightened up a little bit more northwest of Talco at this time. So if you live up there in parts of Franklin County and Titus County, we need you in your safe place right now with that tornado warning in place. Now our Titan indicator, that yellow turning thing that you see there, that is, it's indicating the strength of the rotation. So it's a mid-level strength rotation that at least our system is seeing, but it could be stronger. And with weather spotters confirming a tornado, spotting one, that would tell us that we've got a system that is producing at least a tornado, even with what our Titan indicator would suggest is a mid-level rotation strength. All right, so we'll go in and look at this. Tornado impacted is saying is low right now, but again, the weather spotters are confirming this. So sometimes it's eyes on the ground being more important than what you'll see on radar. Radar can only do so much. Remember, it's looking at the precipitation particles as they move and bounce back toward the radar. So it's right in here where we have our big concern. 271, if you live near 271, please be in your shelter right now. Talco, please be in your shelter. Crossing over Highway 37, that's north and east of Hagensport. Hail sizes up to tennis ball sized hail, and that is about a 7. So a 7 out of 10. Our ranges that we're showing you here are going to be ranges from a scale of 1 to 10. So when we get that probability of hail 100%, that means severe hail in there is at least golf ball size, if not up to tennis ball sized hail with the flooding impact. And again, that strong circulation right here south of Bogota and confirmed by weather spotters. So I keep saying that because that's the urgency that we need to treat this with, is when we have something that is confirmed by spotters, then it's not just radar indicated, it's not just a circulation in the mid-levels of the clouds, it's something on the ground. So we'll check here. I'll go back to reflectivity in just a second. We'll also try to check with our debris tracker and see if there's any indication that we're getting any type of debris or any type of damage. Right now, I'm not hearing of anything like that. Let me go and check with the Weather Service once again from spotters in the field, and they are still holding tight that. They say a report, okay, so a tornado on the ground. That means you need to take cover now, move to a basement, interior room of the lowest floor on a sturdy building. And of course, we need you to avoid those windows. But there's that circulation. Southwest now of 271. Let me circle this for you so you get an idea of what we're talking about. That's going to be southeast of Bogota right here. So that's our circulation. That's our possible tornado, or at least confirmed by weather spotters right now. So there is a tornado in that area at this time. So I'll get rid of that circle. Now let's check our debris tracker and see if we've got anything that would tell us that there may be some debris. A lot of lightning in that storm also. It's one indication you got a very powerful storm. And indeed, there is some at least green showing up here southeast of Bogota. Can you see this right in here? So right in there, there may be trees or something that's not meteorological. Meteorological would be the reds and the pinks. This could also be some hail that's reflecting back differently toward the radar. So could be hail. This could be a rain-wrapped also tornado, but the fact that it's confirmed and seen by weather spotters would suggest that this is the real deal. So please, if you live in Talco, Johntown, we need you to get down to your shelter. Remember, get in, get down, get covered, and stay there. Take your mobile phone with you. Make sure you have the CBS19 mobile app handy. Turn that on. Watch us from the shelter. Stay there until we give you the all clear. Otherwise, you just have to kind of hunker down with that lightning and that strong hail core. I'll go back to the hail core because that'll give us an indication of where the possible circulation could be. In fact, now the hailstones inside this, if there's not getting tornado damage, you are getting baseball-sized hail, at least, perhaps even bigger than that, in this storm right now as it crosses over 271. We have giant hail in that storm, and on top of that, a tornado-warned storm as we speak, with that circulation right in here. Let me circle it again and then we'll track it for you. Can't say this enough that you need to take shelter, take this warning seriously, as we possibly have a tornado on the ground. Spotters did confirm that, but we don't know if it has lifted back up. We're trying to monitor the National Weather Service chat room to make sure and see what they're saying. Let me track this for you here. We're going to come away from that circulation, moving to the southeast. The Weather Service is now saying 45 miles an hour. So I'll just give you a quick look here, and that'll be Maple Springs, 525, Wilkinson, 530, Lydia, 548, New Hope, just before 6 o'clock, and Darden just after 6 o'clock on that tornado-warned storm. Crossing 271 right now. And if you live in Maple Springs, please go to your safe place right now. We have to tell you this, sometimes there's a little bit of a delay in those sweeps that go around, and by the time that comes up to the satellite and it's fed back down to the system, and you see it on TV, there can be a bit of a delay. It can be as much as 7 minutes. So this storm may already have crossed over 271. So when you see these times, add a couple of minutes, give yourself some extra time, get to your shelter as soon as possible. The counties included in that tornado warning until 5:45 again are going to be Franklin, Red River, and Titus County. It's not all of Franklin County, it's not all of Red River County, and it's not all of Titus County. It's essentially the northern part of Franklin and Titus County and the southern part of Red River County. So moving southeastward. Now, if it decides to move a little bit farther to the southeast, it could also eventually engage into Morris County. And there are additional cells out there that we have to watch that have this propensity to possibly, they are rotating, and so they have the propensity to spin up a quick tornado. But this is one of the stronger rotations that we've seen so far this spring here in East Texas. It's been a very quiet spring when it comes to tornadoes. We've had our bouts of some wind damage. We've had our bouts sometimes where we have some larger hail, but this is one of these storms that is producing at least a confirmed tornado on the ground near Bogota as it heads toward Maple Springs and also heads across 271. So anybody that lives in that area, I hope you are in your shelter and taking cover at this time. All right, let's clear things out and reset the table here. Again, that looks like that circulation now in this latest sweep has gone down closer to Talco. There may be some reorganization in the storm. There's also some purple where we're in between the radar sites here, between Shreveport and Fort Worth. So that's always something that we battle against here in East Texas, and that is something that we have to overcome. That's why the spotters on the ground are so important when it comes to a storm like this. But if you look at the reflectivity, you don't see very strong inflow notch or anything like that. There's not really what we would call a hook echo here. So this could be very well rain wrapped, but may have appeared to the spotter at some time right in the area. But the lightning strikes are indicative of a very strong thunderstorm with powerful updrafts. And if the updrafts are powerful, you can carry that warmer air that becomes the fuel that gets ingested into the storm, and then it quickly rises, it condenses, it cools, and then it can become larger hailstones. But it's also sort of gasoline for a storm to sustain itself. So I'm going to keep an eye on this area here. As warm air rises and it gets cooler, it eventually begins to get so dense that it falls, right? That colder air is more dense. It begins to fall back down the other side of the storm, and then we get what we call a rear flank downdraft. We'll see if that also develops. Thunderstorms can also produce some gusts out the front. At times, those winds are brought back into the storm system and ingested back into the storm system. And when you get that going, typically we start to see that hook echo form. I don't see that quite yet on reflectivity at least, but inside when we are looking at that velocity scan, and that velocity scan, again, it's looking at the precipitation particles. Could be hailstones, could be raindrops, it could even be debris if there is debris. It sees that and then it sends that signal back to the radar, and then that is derived as a wind speed and wind motion. So it's not truly seeing the wind inside the storm, it is seeing the motion of the precipitation or the object that the radar beam bounced off of. Did you see that sweep go by there just to the northeast of Talco? Some very large hail. So that's the other component to this storm. Not only do you have a tornado warning with a confirmed tornado spotted in the Bogota, Talco area, you have up to softball-sized hail in this storm, and that's going to do tremendous damage also on top of that. The tornado with the stronger winds could tear anything apart, so we really got to be careful and take heed to this storm. Get inside, get down, get as low as you can, get covered up. So if that means going inside to an interior bathroom with no windows or a closet, do that right now. If you are in southern parts of Red River County, northern parts of Franklin County, and northern parts of Titus County. There is the Titus Red River line, there's the Franklin Red River line. So it's going to be right in here. Here's Wilkinson, also inside this box, or what we refer to as the polygon. And there's always the saying in the weather industry, respect the polygon. So if you live inside that area that is inside that red box or that polygon, you need to take shelter. So that's the storm. It does look like it's trying to get a little better organization to it, at least from reflectivity. So I'm going to go over and check out our velocity scan once again. I'll turn off the lightning. We know there's a tremendous amount of lightning with this storm. And that amount of lightning, again, tells us so much, that there is a heavy rain also inside that storm. It also tells us that this is a powerful thunderstorm as it stands. So checking velocity again on this storm in northern parts of Franklin County and northern parts of Titus County and southern parts of Red River County. It seems to be right on the county right now. It's moved east of Bogata. Tauco would be next in line. Box Elder, Wilkinson, you need to be in your safe place right now with that tornado warning ongoing for about the next half hour. So with another half hour to go on that storm and still a circulation showing up that would be possible or indicative of showing some sort of rotation and possibly a tornado, it still needs to be taken seriously. All right, let's see. We get an update from at least from Shreveport. Shreveport National Weather Service office is going to be handling this one as it moves a little farther east away from the Fort Worth radar site. So it's still in between there, but we're still hearing now from the National Weather Service that indeed there is some tennis ball sized hail inside that storm. So yeah, tornado warning. Also some, let me go double check on the hail size for you. That's another component to this storm. And you can see the hail core has come down. It's down to tennis ball size. We were in the softball size category, or perhaps even larger. But again, that's radar estimated. So sometimes it's a little overdone, but sometimes it can be spot on. So this right now is indicating some tennis ball sized hail. Let me check out any kind of debris in there. I'd be looking for blue. That would be a building material. Thankfully, not seeing any of that currently. We are, however, seeing that hail core. If you see that little green area to the northeast of Tauco, and then I put the hail back on, you can see it sort of corresponds in that area. So back to velocity once again. Tornado warning continues for Franklin, Red River, and Titus County until 5:45, and then surrounding that area, we have a severe thunderstorm warning that also goes until 5:45. So the severe thunderstorm warning includes the cities of Argo and Daphne, but that tornado warning includes the city of Tauco. I was talking on Facebook last night, had someone asking about Tauco, and last night I told them they were clear for last night. And here we go again with today and the possibility of seeing, all right, yes. And then with the possibility of seeing more severe weather today. This is why we issue a Eye on Weather Day when we think there is the possibility of a life-threatening situation, and I would say that a tornado confirmed on the ground is a life-threatening situation, especially for those localized areas. Let me zoom back out, just give everybody kind of a wider picture of what's going on here. We again do have the severe thunderstorm watch those counties are under. Red River County, Titus County, Franklin County, even Smith County is in the watch, in the severe thunderstorm watch that goes until 11 p.m. It's that cell that is broken away from everything else that has prompted that tornado warning. And you can see as I put this back into motion, just look how it is spinning. It was spinning from the time it left Lamar County and crossed Delta County and started turning to the right. So it's a right-hand turner. Right-hand turners tend to be stronger than other storms. And so it's just, you can see it had a bigger hail core as it crossed over out of Lamar and Delta County and into Red River County, but it's enough to prompt that tornado warning with that strongest rotation very close to the border of Franklin County and Titus County and into southern parts of Red River County. So as it stands, No other warnings right now, at least down closer to Canton, Athens, Tyler, Longview, or Gilmer, but we do have the tornado warning up in Franklin County and northern parts of Titus County. These cells out here also rotating south of Dallas. They'll cross I-35. I think they'll become more problematic as the evening goes on. It does look as if we'll get either clusters of thunderstorms or perhaps a line of thunderstorms with very strong winds that will move through the Tyler area, Jacksonville, Henderson, Longview between about 7 and 9 p.m. The good news is these storms will move rapidly. The bad news is the strong winds and the large hail that they could create in terms of damage. So again, we still have that tornado warning. This will cross into Bowie County here as fast as these storms are moving. It's 45 miles an hour, so it is trucking right along here. Let me go back and put another timeline on that as we get an update, and we can clear a couple of cities. It may be east of Bogota right now. That would be great news. Let me put a stop on this just for right now and zoom in on that and let's get a fresh timeline on that storm. So the freshest timeline that we can put on the portion of the storm that is currently where the area of rotation is going to be right back here where you see our Titan indicator showing that rotation south of Clarksville, northwest of Talco. There's also some bright reds that indicates that there are some strong outflow winds from the storm. So putting it out to the east at 45 miles an hour is going to take this storm into Bowie County, and that will happen pretty quickly here, probably by the time the tornado warning ends at 5:45. You've got Box Elder currently inside that tornado warned polygon. You also have New Hope and Boston and Maud by 6:16. So that's an hour out as that storm moves. The rotation now just jumping ahead on our Titan indicator. So let me check out the Titan indicator. Sometimes we can look inside, and what this does is this it uses math, it uses an algorithm. It takes into account the wind speeds inside, the hailstorm that is inside, the hail size of the inside the storm, and then it assigns a value between 1 and 10. And from there, sometimes we can derive just how powerful or how much of a threat we're seeing. And it looks as if right now that perhaps a tornado warning whether it was spotter confirmed, but it looks like if you look at the tornado impact, it has lowered a bit since the last time we got some data there. It came in now less than a 1. Hail impact still at a 7, so some very large hail, and of course the flooding impact with very heavy rain in addition to that dangerous lightning. So that tornado warning ongoing for about the next 25 minutes in Franklin, northern Franklin, Titus, and northern Morris County. That's the severe thunderstorm warning goes into Morris County. We have not had a tornado warning issued yet for Morris County. So waiting to see the latest update on these scans to see if this will be extended into northern parts of Morris County. But for the time being, it is just a Franklin and Titus County warned storm. So that tornado warning for both of those counties. In fact, it looks like Franklin County has been cleared of the tornado warning, and now it is Red River and Titus County, and that circulation northeast of Talco. So Bogota, you are in the clear. You are no longer in the polygon. You can come out of your safe place. Hagensport, you're fine. Daphne, also fine. Argo, not inside that polygon as we speak. Latest sweep just went by, and you can see there's still a bit of rotation there. Northwest of Wilkinson looks like it's come down a little bit. Let me zoom in a little bit farther and see if we can get in a couple more towns there. Box Elder, Maple Springs just to the south. If you were in Maple Springs, I want you to stay in your shelter. But it looks like the storm, the center of the storm, the worst part of the storm is crossing just to your north. Box Elder, this is too close for you to come out of your shelter. You need to sit tight and continuing monitoring the situation, whether you're watching on a TV or you are possibly watching on our app, on our CBS19 mobile app. But it does look at this time as if this rotation is widening out just a little bit. There's the green, there's the red. We'll get another sweep here pretty soon. Hopefully we can clear everybody out of this, get you back to CBS Evening News, and then of course we'd come back on with our CBS 19 News at 6 o'clock. But we're going to ride this out for right now until they until they cancel the watch or extend the warning, I should say, and then go with that a little bit farther. So the tornado warning had a confirmed tornado spotted back in Franklin County, southern parts of Red River County, and northern Titus County. And at this time, it looks as if we have weakened enough, unless we're just looking at a lot of a rain-wrapped tornado at this time. But we'll go back in here. I'm going to turn off the storm track and also turn off the lightning for the time being. There's a lot of lightning in that storm. In fact, let me see how many lightning strikes that were popping up here in this storm. And this is going to be over the last 15 minutes. So in the last 15 minutes, in that tornado-warned storm, you're talking about 187 strikes. So tremendous amounts of lightning. We typically see that in these tornadic storms because it's indicative of strong updrafts into a storm, strongly rotating supercell also, and that's indeed what this is. This is a supercell sitting out there by itself in just some perfect air, humid air, warm air, lots of what we call wind shear in this part, particularly of northeast Texas and the Arklatex here today. Looking at some of the data earlier, there were 60+ knots of wind shear. So what does that mean? Well, that means at the surface, there wasn't much at all. If you come up to, or at maybe 5,000 feet, I was looking at some wind shear. It was roughly about, the winds were blowing around, say, 10 miles an hour. We come up to this level, they were blowing around 60 miles an hour. So you have about 50 miles of 50 mile an hour of wind shear. So that's change in speed with a height. So what does that do? Well, faster winds. Think of a river, think of a stream. If you've got faster water moving in one direction in the other, it creates ripples in that stream, right? So this is what this is doing. The atmosphere is moving faster in one part of one layer of the atmosphere versus another, and so it creates spin. And so that's why a lot of these supercells, as they move out into this open air, warm air, lots of energy in the atmosphere, and then that difference in the speed, wind speed between lower levels and higher levels gets things spinning, and then you can get tornadic supercells like you have. So tornado warning, 545, still a small portion of Titus County, Franklin counties come out of it, and this would be mainly southern parts of Red River County at this time. So just looking back at that, I'm going to look at the hail size here because we've had some large hail on that storm, and that looks like the hail core is also coming down. So I think what we're going to do here is take this to 5:30, toss to CBS Evening News. It does look like the tornado threat is diminishing quickly with this storm, with that hail core coming down, and no other reports from spotters that we have anything on the ground at this time. So I'll check one more time with Shreveport. They're the ones that are going to be in charge of reissuing this warning, or they will let it expire at 5:45. But currently, it looks like the core's come down. Rotation is not as significant according to the Weather Service as we were showing you, and they are going to ride with the storm for a few more minutes and see if it cycles back, but it looks like they may be canceling this warning soon. So I think the threat is passing pretty quickly here. So New Hope, still stay in your shelter. Wilkinson, stay in your shelter for the time being, but it does look like the threat for this tornado warning will end here soon. Let me know from the booth when we can toss to commercial, and then we will join CBS News, CBS Evening News, and keep an eye on this storm as it moves now. It's kind of moved out of Titus County. It's in southern Red River County, headed over toward New Hope. So New Hope, you do have the potential here for some tennis ball sized hail to impact New Hope and then head up over into parts of Bowie County and staying north of Marion County right now. So severe thunderstorm warning surrounds that for parts of Franklin County, Titus County, and Morris County, and that severe thunderstorm warning also goes until 5:45. But the Weather Service just seeing a little bit of an uptick here with that hail core back up to about golf ball sized hail. So we'll likely hear about some golf ball hail damage up in that area. Could be quite large at this time, but it does look like that rotation is coming down, and now they're going to be canceling the tornado warning. All right, so here's what I'm going to do. I will toss it to break. We'll join CBS Evening News after the break, and then we will see you back here on CBS 19 News at 6 o'clock. We appreciate you watching CBS 19 News at 5 and our special coverage of this tornado warning for parts of Franklin and Titus County. Again, the tornado warning is being canceled by the National Weather Service. We'll see you tonight at 6.